Sprinting down the final stretch of a major half marathon, legs on fire, crowd roaring, and his biggest rival inches away. He's on pace to shatter a record that stood for nearly 2 decades. Then, in a split second, a single move alters the course of the race. Was it a brilliant tactic or an outright rules violation? Suddenly, what should have been a glorious victory sparks one of the most contentious debates in running history. Will he be overtaken at the last moment? Jamal Ymer falls behind. This moment marks the thrilling conclusion of this year's Houston Half Marathon, a heart-pounding finish where 2 competitors broke away from the pack in the final 200 meters.
The energy to go. They respond quickly, but this is going to push him it's going to drive him to the line. And he's fighting for every second. He's fighting for the win, but he's fighting for every second as well.
Over the past 59 minutes, these elite runners had been clocking a blistering pace of 4 minutes and 30 seconds per mile, tearing through the streets of Houston with intensity. Now, it had all come down to this. Despite what you may have heard about this dramatic finale, here's what truly happened at the close of the race. Will he be edged out at the line? Jamal Ymer drops back. It's too close to call at the finish of the Aramco Houston Half Marathon. What an incredible conclusion, John. It's been decades since an American runner has taken first in this race, but that streak continues. Leading the field this year was Edu Gobena of Ethiopia, finishing just 1/10 of a second ahead of Connor Mance from the United States. Both athletes officially clocked a time of 59 minutes and 7.15 seconds, an average pace of 4:31 per mile. However, thanks to a blocking strategy in the final moments, Gobena edged out Mance by a mere 0.04 seconds. If you've been paying attention, something about this result might not sit right with you, and you're not alone. In the final stretch, Gobena shifted left, cutting off Mance's path to the lead. This maneuver effectively blocked Mance from reaching the finish line freely, nearly colliding with the official holding the finish tape. According to track and field regulations, such interference is a clear violation. The rules explicitly state that obstructing or impeding another athlete during a race, whether by veering into their lane, cutting them off, or physically jostling, is grounds for disqualification. Let me be clear, this isn't just a matter of interpretation. After reviewing the footage repeatedly, I found myself grappling with a tough choice. Should I accept the official results, or should I speak out to a larger audience about this injustice?
He edged out at the finish. Jamal Ymer falls back. We have side by side. Too close to call at the finish of the Aramco Houston Half Marathon.
It didn't seem fair. Adding to the weight of this controversy is the fact that Connor Mance achieved something extraordinary during this race, something American distance running hadn't seen in 18 years. Back in 2007, Ryan Hall shattered barriers by becoming the first U.S. runner to break 1 hour in the half marathon, setting a national record of 59 minutes and 43 seconds. This iconic moment, broadcast live, left an indelible mark on American athletics. As a young fan of Hall's career, his record-breaking performance in Houston became a personal milestone. For me, one I'd never forget. For Mance, breaking this record by an astounding 26 seconds while running on the same streets where Hall made history was a monumental achievement. Even with the controversy surrounding the finish, Mance is now officially the American record holder in the half marathon, a title he unquestionably deserves. But the legality of Gobena's finish is still up for debate. Since the race concluded, many have voiced their frustrations online, calling for Gobena's disqualification. A few articles have also echoed these sentiments, pointing out the clear infraction. While some argue that Gobena's move wasn't severe enough to warrant disqualification, claiming it wasn't an overt shove, but more of a protective reaction, the fact remains, rules are rules. Even unintentional interference is still interference. To illustrate, let's look back to the 2011 World Championships in the men's 110-meter hurdles. A similar situation occurred when Dairon Robles of Cuba and Liu Xiang of China were neck and neck in the final stretch. As Liu moved to overtake, Robles reached out and physically impeded him, grabbing his arm and halting his progress. Upon close review, officials disqualified Robles for his actions, as the rules demand fairness above all else. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. Robles had done it twice. Because of this interference, he was ultimately disqualified, and it was undeniably a fair ruling. However, the surprising twist in that race was that Liu Xiang didn't even end up with the gold medal after being impeded. Instead, Jason Richardson from the United States, running on the inside lane, managed to finish slightly ahead. As a result of Robles' disqualification and the disruption to Liu's momentum, Richardson emerged as the gold medalist. This decision was a textbook example of how interfering with another athlete near the finish line results in disqualification. But in the case of this half marathon, no such ruling has been made yet. With more than 48 hours passing since the race, it seems highly unlikely that any changes to the official results will occur. What's more, Conor Mantz himself hasn't raised any formal complaints. After the race, Mantz was interviewed, and here's what he had to say about the dramatic finish. "It was a special day today. I'm just really grateful for the Pacers and my competitors. My coach, Ed Eyestone, has been preparing me so well for this moment. I'm thankful for the chance to compete, to go for the win, and when things got really tough out there, I focused on making sure I could still break the record. That was the ultimate goal, even if the pace picked up toward the end." When asked specifically about the finish and the competition with Gobina, Mantz reflected, "Man, about 4 or 5K from the finish, I realized I was really struggling. We were running into the wind, and our pace started slowing down a lot. I had a sense of where the final 100 meters were, and I thought to myself, why am I not sprinting right now? I can still win this. So I made my move. Gobina, what's his name again? Yeah, Gobina, who had been leading a lot into the wind, really had a bit more left in him. I'm super grateful for him because he did so much of the work breaking the wind for us. But even as I came into the finish, I thought, I can't let up now. If I had focused a little more on competing instead of just finishing strong, maybe I could have beaten him. But honestly, I'm just thankful for the race. He helped me run the time I needed to break the record." You have to admire Mantz for his humility and grace under pressure. His sportsmanship shines brightly even in the face of a controversial finish. Instead of pointing fingers or showing frustration, he expressed gratitude for his competitors and the opportunity to compete at such a high level. Not once did he hint at resentment or complain about the ending. If there were an award for the nicest guy of the year, Mantz would surely take it. After all, many others in his position might have been quick to voice their frustrations over how things played out. Still, this finish does bring up valid questions about its legality. Whether or not there should have been a disqualification, the race was undeniably thrilling from start to finish. Mantz's record-breaking performance was nothing short of incredible. He smashed the American half marathon record, cementing his place in history regardless of the outcome. Now, I want to hear from all of you. What are your thoughts on this intense finish between Mantz and Gobina? Do you think Gobina's actions should have resulted in a disqualification? Or is the decision to leave the results unchanged acceptable? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, until next time.